looks like we're ready to go. Try your mics, guys. Okay, we ready to go, Monica?
Absolutely.
Okay, I'll call this meeting to order. This is the town council meeting for the town of Alpine, August 15th, 2023 at 7 p.m. First of all, we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Madam Clerk, roll call.
Councilman Larson.
Here.
Councilman Dickerson.
Here.
Mayor Green.
Here.
Councilman Castillo. Here. And Councilman Burchard.
Here.
Mayor Green, you have a quorum with the council. All of them are present.
All right, great. We have Emily on the conference, I should say Councilwoman Castillo on the conference call, and so we will she'll have to raise her hand somehow, and then we'll call on her. But thank you for attending. We know you've had a real busy travel schedule lately, so thanks for attending. First thing on the agenda is the consent agenda. Has everyone had a chance to look at everything on there?
Yep.
Any questions? Do we have a motion?
Motion for approval of consent agenda?
Second.
We have a motion. It's been seconded. Any discussion? No discussion. All those in favor of approving the motion on the consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Aye? Okay. What's that? Oh, sorry.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah, I should have turned that one. Okay, motion carries. So we'll go right into reports. My report is the first one, and I don't have much to report this week. Just a few things going on. I don't know if everyone's heard, but we are upgrading the basketball court at Ferry Peak Park to be a pickleball court with actually 2 pickleball courts. And so we've taken the first step of preparing for the concrete to be poured. The concrete has actually been poured in addition to a pathway leads to the bathrooms there, so we're real excited about that. And now we're just going to be scheduling the resurfacing here coming soon, which was approved recently by the town council. So that should be done soon, and we'll have a groundbreaking ceremony and invite everyone to come over. So when we have more information, we'll let everyone know on that. Next up would be the engineering report from Kevin. And if you don't mind, turn on the mic, Kevin.
All right. Kevin Mahar, Jorgensen Associates, for the engineering report. Did y'all have any questions on any pieces, projects of the engineering report?
No, do you want to just give us the quick overview?
Yeah, so we turned in some grants for the safety action plan for the Department of Transportation. Then we've also done the Wyoming Department of Transportation Alternative Program grant. And then we've also been taking emails from them trying to get everything worked out. So Hadley was on vacation last week, but she already pushed that through before. So we've got that taken care of. We met with Melvin on the sludge, the legacy Melvin and the new Melvin. Seems like we came to an agreement with the new Melvin. The legacy Melvin, we're still working on that process, as you know. Snake River Junction, we're working on that generator. We got a proposal from Musgrove Engineering for $3,500 to do that work, so we can get it as a full plan and spec and get the ownership with Snake River Junction to go ahead and pay for that, and then we can approve it per those specifications.
Okay.
And at that point, you could release their bond on that. So generator taking anywhere from 26 to 40 weeks. So it's going to be something that we'll have to get proposals and bids this winter and then sometime next summer.
Okay.
So for new generators.
Right, yeah.
The pre-treatment plant, the building is pretty much up. It's sheeted. It's waiting on the metal siding to come in, the garage doors, the windows, that kind of stuff. We just went through the DEQ comments. Rendezvous just sent those comments back to the DEQ, We responded to all 7 comments, and we had an answer for specifically how he wanted it. If he wanted a backup generator, we gave him a backup generator size. If he wanted more ventilation, we gave him more ventilation. If he wanted containment, we gave him containment. So we're hopeful that we've answered every one of his questions with his answer, that that's what he wanted, and then we're going to move on from there. So at this point, I started looking for used generators, because used generators we can get sooner. PC Industries, they had a 600, but we're looking for a 750. So we're going to see if they've got one around, and we'll start looking at wherever we can find on those.
And they're quite a bit less than a new one, or
Yeah.
about the same? Okay.
Yeah, quite a bit less.
Okay.
Probably half, and a lot of times you can get them for like 400 hours on them, that kind of thing.
Wow.
It's just, it's used, so you have to be diligent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's seldom as the power goes out around here.
Right.
You know, hopefully it never gets used, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it will get exercised once a week, and then you'll
Yeah.
test it once a year,
Yep,
and then do load bank testing, those kind of things, so it's ready.
yep.
Yeah,
Sounds
and
good.
then the water meters for the readings, they went through and they did the survey, so they figured out where all the water meters are at with Craig's help. So, it's Craig?
Yeah.
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 So they've pretty much GPSed all those in, and now we can figure out exactly what meter you have existing, what meter is going to work, and then how they can integrate the Wi-Fi to that, so you can start doing that.
That's great.
So,
Anybody have any questions for Kevin? Thanks for coming down. Appreciate it. We'll start, Councilman Larson with the economic development.
Sure. If I may, I'll kind of combine economic development with my tourism board hat, because nothing's going on Lincoln County Economic Development right now, because the county is in the process of trying to put together their tourism board. And I've been in talks with Commissioner Connolly and their representative to try and get that board organized and how that'll look. One good part of that, there was some debate on how the flow, if you recall, we have our own travel and tourism board through the town of Alpine, and how that goes. Monies that are taxed here at 6% go to the state. The state keeps 3, sends us back 1, sends the county 2, and the county has to split that 2, giving us another 1. The county was under the assumption that until they had their board together, that they would not be able to release those funds to the town. With some talks, they were educated that that's not correct. And we should be saying a check coming from the county, as well as more from the state for the Travel and Tourism Board.
That's great.
That's great.
And on the Travel and Tourism Board, for locally, the Alpine Travel and Tourism Board, other than that, nothing else new. Our first meeting will be in October. We'll see where we're at with the budget. Last budget we saw was a little over $1,700 from the state. And then with this now coming from the county, and we should be seeing another installment from the state here pretty soon. That's it.
And Jeremy, could you I did receive an email earlier this week. I think it would be good information so that council can let everybody know, and then I can let this person know. When was it you plan to first start taking applications?
Applications will be the first of the year.
Next year?
Next 2024, correct. So
Okay.
starting January 1 through February 15, we'll be taking applications.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Does the tourism board have any sort of website, or are they linked on our website right now?
There currently are no website linked. They will be linked to our website when.
Yeah, you'll have a page.
When our
We'll
website
develop a
gets
page for you
Yes.
done,
on our
yeah.
website, okay.
Yep.
Yep,
On our new website that's
Yeah.
coming
Yes,
soon, okay.
yes.
coming to a website near you.
Yeah, at a future date near you. Councilman Larson, do you want to just give
Just
us-
go on down the line?
Yeah, just
It's
keep,
all you.
keep rolling.
Sure. So utility easements, still working on utility easements. We've been receiving more easements from those properties that have changed hands. That's the biggest lump of some with those. The utility easements, I need to, I just read a quick email from Christine. The utility easements are on behalf of the town of Alpine, not on behalf of Silver Star. So it's the town of Alpine seeking utility easements for utilities such as Silver Star, LVE, town water, town sewer, even though up there we don't have sewer, but that's what the utility easement's for. The town contracts with LVE and Silver Star under a different contract, so that falls underneath that. Travel and tour, or no, did Travel and Tourism Board? Or any questions? Okay.
Keep rolling.
All right, then, now I'll get on my soapbox for local nonprofit update. For everybody here and for everybody there, I keep getting more and more marketing material from Old Bills, and I'm not trying to detract anything from Old Bills. They do, the Community Foundation of Jackson does an amazing job. There's a lot of good causes there. I just want to let everybody know that if you are an Alpine resident, you live here, you live and work here especially, you want to see things happen, we do not have a community foundation. What a community foundation does is it links all the nonprofits together. It also has several endowments that can do fundraising and match donations. So say I donate $100 to Old Bills and I choose what nonprofit I want it to go to. The community foundation, depending on their fiscal year, more than likely will double that so that my $100 will equal $200 to that nonprofit. We do not have that here. But we do have many nonprofits who do a lot of good. I personally sit on several boards. So to let you know, Star Valley Health Foundation, the biggest thing right now on the Health Foundation, we are working for expansion of the Alpine Clinic, creating a new ER for Alpine, a new outpatient surgery, OR, for a new cath lab, also for ortho, for derm, and for ENT, ear, nose, and throat. We're running a major gifts campaign of $2.5 million. The hospital has received a grant from the state as well as taken a loan out to complete that side of the hospital. So there's that going for it. Alpine Trails and Pathways, always looking for donations there. We do grooming in the wintertime that runs about $10,000. Not to mention, that's just the lake bed grooming. And then you have several hundred to a couple of $1,000s on other grooming and trails related stuff. Town of Alpine, you can actually talk to your accountant to make sure it's those two are 501c3s. Town of Alpine is not a 501c3. However, depending on what your accountant tells you, you can make a donation to the town of Alpine. Say if you want to go to pickleball courts or if you want to go to the sports park. With that, do a quick segue. Sports park, still waiting to hear. We have a $650,000 grant in waiting right now. Supposedly they're 6 to 9 months behind. We're at month 5 and I still haven't heard anything yet. It's at the district attorney's office or the AG's office. Also, you have Lucky's. Lucky's is a great nonprofit for animals. We do a lot of collaborative. ATAP does with Lucky's. You have Thane Senior Center. You also have Top of the Rockies. What is Top of the Rockies doing? I know they're one of the largest nonprofits in the valley.
Yep, Top of the Rockies is a community reinvestment club that poses as a bunch of snowmobilers, basically. This weekend we have our car show. We've had it every year for 15 years, maybe longer. And all of the proceeds from the car show go directly back into the community. If somebody needs financial assistance, we can help them. Medical bills, their power bill, we've done a variety of things to help the community. And we are also very supportive of other nonprofits in the community. We just recently made a donation to the Rotary Club to sponsor their Oktoberfest, which is coming up September 2nd at Star Valley Ranch. And if you aren't going out of town for Labor Day weekend, I suggest you go. It's in the evening. It's going to be a bratwurst dinner, music, dancing, drinks, silent auction. Should be a really good time. The Rotary Club supports the Valley scholarships for the high school, Students of the Month. They provide dictionaries for all the third graders. They do international grants to schools in the Ukraine. Highway cleanup. They donate to local food banks. Alpine Food Bank. If anybody is interested in volunteering, we're looking for fresh volunteers. As we all know, people do things for a while and other things come up in their lives and they can't always be dedicated to it. But if anyone's interested in becoming a volunteer for the food bank, come on into the town and we can tell you all about it.
Regarding that, I think we're gonna have a meeting and
We're gonna have a
hopefully be
meeting.
expanding the operation just a little bit,
Yeah.
but we need the volunteers to make it happen.
Yes, we
Yeah.
want to try and get it open more than once a week and just a little more organization than it has right now. So we're going to build on what they're already doing. The other great nonprofit is in the Valley is the Thane Senior Center. So they're working really, really hard to raise funds for their new facility, which is, it's a big goal, it's a big reach. They are having a prime rib dinner at the Alpine Civic Center on September 8th. I highly suggest you go. They're going to have raffles, silent auctions. The Flying Saddle is catering, so it should be an amazing dinner. It's $60 per ticket or $5.50 for a table of 8, and you need to purchase those in advance from the Senior Center.
You can also get them at the town of Alpine
Oh, good. Very good.
as well. We have them.
Yeah, so lots going on in the next month or so here in the area. If you need something to do, we can help you out.
Let's just make sure that we posted those on our Facebook page or whatever, if they
Mhm.
haven't been already.
Yeah,
Maybe
for sure.
ask Melody about that, but
Yeah.
any other
So,
great, oh, you have something else?
well, no, so as you see, we don't have, a community foundation that puts out a big marketing campaign that, and again, I don't want to detract from that, but if you live here, you live and work here, you want Alpine to be your home, you want North Lincoln County to be, a place where things happen, right now, this is it. We have things going on. It's just not quite as organized without the help of a community foundation. And if you have time and you're like, man, I want to start a nonprofit and get in that world, well, that's where I'd first send you, is to start a community foundation, and you can get dialed in with those guys. But we do have stuff going on. Reach out to here at the town. We all know we can send you in one way or the other.
Yep. Volunteers, if you have any desire to help us out, we will find something for you to do. So we're actively looking for volunteers. So any other announcements or reports?
I did want to give
Yeah.
a little bit of information about the car show this weekend. The Star Valley Street Market will also be down here Friday, I think 4 to 8 maybe. I'm not sure about the time, and then all day Saturday. So you can look at cars, buy some baked goods, some jewelry. We're also going to have live music and a DJ, and we'll be selling burgers and brats, and you can one-stop shopping. You can get a little bit of everything.
Yep. It's a great event. So especially 15 years in, that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Anything else? All right. Let's get right into our action items. Madam Clerk.
Do you want to speak to the first item, Kevin, please?
Yeah, just a little background on this first, Kevin. That would be great.
Okay. Yeah, so Kevin Mahar with Jorgensen Associates. The pretreatment plant, a little bit of history on it. It was basically set up because they were having some issues with the existing plant whenever Melvin came on in 2016. From 2016 to 2019, they tried to deal with it in-house, and that wasn't working. So then they decided to go with a pretreatment plant, and of which the state is happy to help us out for about $3 million worth of it. Of that $3 million, Cambrian Innovations is this membrane container that will take care of the sewage that is coming from Melvin's and process it out, and then it'll go to the plant itself. So this pretreatment plant is pretty much set up directly for Melvin's to help them out and help the town of Alpine's wastewater treatment plant as it is. And then this pretreatment plant can be used in the future for any other industrial uses or just in general pretreatment coming into it. Back in 2020, when they got with Cambrian Innovations, And the previous town engineer, they came up and they got the design processes going through. And in 2022, they signed a contract for $1.8 million, roughly, for this process equipment for this membrane system. At that point, it was determined they didn't want to put the shipping and handling in the process in that quote of $1.8 million. So at this point, this is what this change order is for, is to put that onus back on Cambrian Innovations to take care of all the shipping and handling, to get all their pieces, parts, anywhere from their smallest controller to their 25,000 pound container here to the plant and installed inside the plant. So that's what this $41,000 change order is for, $41,547.15. So it's a pretty good sized number.
Yeah, and this came to light when I was doing, Kevin had started a project cost sheet. I picked up with that and expanded on it, and so I was going through the documentation to create that comprehensive spreadsheet about all the project costs and try to figure out, where we're at now, where we're heading with this project. I read that shipping wasn't included, and I said, Kevin,
Yeah.
how much is the shipping? So here we are.
Yeah.
So we wanted to formalize this so that we know what it is.
Yep.
Yeah. So this will be an added change order, which is change order number 3 for Cambrian Innovations, but it's change order number 9 on this project overall. That's why that number is up there. So,
I guess we can't buy this equipment and not have it shipped here.
yeah, unless you want to drive up there and get it.
We'll let you do that if you want.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
West Texas,
Send
it'd be a
me
good drive.
Volunteers.
Yeah, exactly. Does anyone have any questions for Kevin while we've got him?
I just have one, Kevin, and it really would just be your best guess. As far as the anchoring of the membrane to the building pad, which will have the contractor take care of, is that usually something that is an extremely expensive process? It looks like Cambrian really is going to handle the majority of what needs to be done as far as delivering and install.
Pretty much once it gets in place, it might be a little bit of shoving it around to try and get it exactly where we want it. After Labor Day, Cambrian's going to come out here, and they've got a 3D model that has the 60% design on the process piping that we're going to go through with Rob. And at that point, you start really pinpointing where it's going to go through. And then on the pre-stressed concrete, that we want to be able to hit it in the right spot where we go through the floor. So it's actually better that they don't put it in until the process mechanics actually come in and they kind of scoot it around to get it right exactly square and plumb and where we want to go with it. But no,
that's
it's not
great.
big.
Thank you, Kevin.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions for Kevin? Thanks,
Cool.
Kevin.
Yep.
We'll do some business here, and then we might call you back up if there's any other questions. Do we have a motion on the table?
Motion for approval for wastewater pretreatment project change order number 9, the amount of $41,547.15 to Cambrian Equipment for shipping and handling.
Second.
We have a motion. It's been seconded. Any discussion? I think it's been said we have to do it.
It does us no good in Texas.
Yeah, we need to get it up here. But again, it's just one more cost that we hadn't accounted for. But it's probably captured someplace in our budget, but we just haven't.
It is now.
It hasn't come up yet. But
Yeah, it's in the budget now.
yeah, exactly. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, motion passes. Madam Clerk, working down the,
Okay,
Let's
so
see.
I had presented you guys with a draft copy of a resolution. I actually did some research and pulled some information from multiple sources to come up with this. And I don't know, I just don't want to pass it. I feel like I want your input so that it's not an emergency, so we can pass it next month. And so, what I've done is a couple things here. It's a resolution to establish meeting protocol and rules of decorum. So there was rules in the back, that were pretty good, but they didn't cover everything. that was sitting back there. It wasn't ever adopted by the town council, though. But the other thing is, there's a struggle that's happening with not getting information to me in advance of the meeting in enough time to be able to get it to you so that you guys can review it, so then, you know, so that you could, because otherwise, we don't want to be passing things that were given to me on Tuesday. You know, it's just, we need to be a little more thoughtful about it. And so that this really gives me it makes it formalized. Town council adopted this, and I must have it 4 business days before the meeting. And so it helps me to be the bad guy, which I'm not good at. So I, you know, and nobody commented when I sent it, so the silence kind of bothered. I really want your input in how we do this moving forward. So yeah, it touches on a couple things, so I wanted to make sure it's what you guys want.
Well, I think the minimum of 4 days is essential for you to get done what you need to do to get us the information, so we have a chance to review it. And,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, minimum of 4 days. As far as like the 3 minutes to make a comment or 3 minutes comment, I would say maybe we should make that more general, like it's up to the chairperson. That would be my only comment, because let's just say we have a packed room here. If we've got to give 3 minutes to everybody, it might get a little out of control.
Yeah, and one of the things we don't have on our agenda that in my historical life, when I was taking care of stuff for the Water and Sewer Authority back home, we had a section called public comment at the beginning of every meeting. So that allowed the public to talk about any agenda item or any item they want to. So that's another thing. It's certainly your wish, but, you know, people come to these meetings, and the way they're laid out now, if they have something on their mind, we really don't have an opportunity for somebody to engage. And so
So this is a time for them to comment on things that aren't on the agenda, or
we can do it either way. I mean, you allow everybody to comment, anybody in the room to comment during the item on the agenda. So I feel like maybe we need to create a public comment. But you're right, we can say that you can set the time. Because you're right, if it's 10 o'clock at night, we can't let everybody, there's 20 people there.
Yeah.
Talk for
Well, I also think we need to, especially if a topic has been,
Yeah.
you know, spoken ad nauseum, then
Yeah.
you know, we just need to lay this stuff out. So I think this is a good first start. I don't know what everyone else says. I was going to ask Jim, in general, Robert's Rules of Order kind of laid out where people address the chairperson or the mayor in this case.
That's correct.
And I think I definitely want to encourage us to do that as well, because if we get too much interaction with and then it just goes on. So I think I would encourage us to adopt that more formally.
I want to say it's either in the draft of the new ordinances, there's a reference that we've adopted Robert's Rules of Order.
I think so, yeah.
The old ones. But, you know, basically when you've got an item up for discussion, you can allow the public to comment, and then you guys have your debate on the agenda item. But if you want just a general public comment section where they can talk about anything, then, I mean, that's up to you guys setting a time frame and saying, all right, you'll have 3 minutes, you know, and address the chairman, and you don't have to have any further discussion on it. You can just say, thank you, have a seat.
Yep. I don't know when to do the public comment. I think in general, if there's a topic that people are, an action item or something on the agenda they're coming to talk about, I think that's the time for them to make their comment. So, you know, I think we just need to think about it a little bit more. We'd never discourage someone from coming in, speaking up.
And the system does, though, this process requires them to notify me 4 days in advance. I mean,
they
so
wanna make
we
public-
can have a carte launch public comment thing, but I don't know what that could lead to. Or this, the way this was set up, and that's why I chose it, because they need to let me know 4 days in advance they would like to come and address
Be on the agenda.
you and be on the agenda. And so we'll have a public comment and list the people in numeric order. So
Yeah.
it's really up to you. So I would really like, I really want your input. I guess that's why I didn't want to say let's pass it tonight, because I feel like this really just sets, it sets the bar for, you know, so how we engage with the public, and I think it's important. So I want your opinions. So if you guys could just go back and look at it, Jim, I always appreciate your input on these types of things. So if you guys would all just go back and look at it, and let's make sure we get it right.
What's everyone's opinion on that public comment?
So for me, specifically, not bringing it to the table, so Resolution 514, to me, it's two separate items, meaning the quorum and the 4-day.
Procedure.
Like, I think the 4-day is, you know, that's very reasonable, past
Okay.
that right now.
So you want me to separate them?
I mean,
I can
that,
do
to me,
that.
that
Yeah,
makes sense.
I can do that.
Yeah.
So
you know,
like
and
have
then-
its own resolution just for the
Yeah,
4 day?
so I'd say, you know, Resolution 514 would just be that, you know, if you want to be on the agenda, you know, it has to be for,
Okay,
subject presented 4 business days prior to meeting, because that gives us that opportunity to digest it
yeah,
over essentially 5.5 days.
yeah,
Yeah, especially if there's some things have come up recently, like a replat. If they're gonna come and talk to us, we need to have a little bit of time to do some research. Or say, you contact us and say, we're gonna put that on the October meeting or the September meeting, we need to have X amount of, you know, days to do it or whatever. But I definitely, let's just think about the public comment and figure out, maybe it's at the very end of the meeting, just because if we haven't covered, someone came to speak about a specific, action item or something on the agenda, we'll give them the opportunity then.
yeah.
And then at the end, if there's any further comments, then we'll take public comments. And also that,
Anything, or
I'm sorry,
of anything, or just what's on the agenda?
I think it's regarding anything. I mean, somebody could come and
Yeah, I
say,
think we're talking about two things. You've got public comment that can come on the action item that's on the agenda. So all you have to do is say, okay, we're opening this up for discussion. We're gonna give the public, you know,
Yep.
10 minutes to discuss it. Then you guys can discuss it and then vote on it. And then the second thing you would have is the agenda items that they specifically want to address, where you have a 4-day notice period. And then you have the, hey, I just want to come say something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
tell us what a great job we're doing.
You guys are,
exactly.
That's why these guys are all here tonight.
Or something?
Okay.
Okay.
so the question then is, do we want to amend this to just pass the 4-day? And then work on the decorum at another time?
I would say we just table this until next.
Yeah, let me just split them. I mean, it's, I can just let everybody know. And it's, I mean, and for the most part, it is, you know, and what, this week, Christine, of course, they have their meetings on Tuesdays between our meetings. And if they have a meeting on the Tuesday before ours, and then she has to write the report, the recommendation, and get that all together, we're also backing up like that simple replat, we really blacked up against time,
Yeah,
you know. So I think maybe that we need to, for her sake and for mine, we need to separate, maybe those sort of things, some things that are gonna take more time that have to come to you. Maybe they need to look at only doing them in the earlier meeting, so it doesn't back up, you know, within 7 days of ours, because it's hard, you know,
Yeah,
To-
get that all put
to
together.
get that all put together. I mean, for her to do it on Tuesday and have it to me by Thursday, and she's not here on Friday, she wouldn't do it. She's not here on Friday, so you know, so it's really too much of a time crunch for her.
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
So when you're talking about a planning and zoning thing, that to me is an action item that comes before just our general meeting. I don't know that we should be taking action on things on what is considering our work session, where we're just discussing issues. That's my thought.
I'm not, I don't think I
Okay,
understand.
so let's just say, so aren't you saying that P and Z is meeting twice a month?
Mhm. They have set meetings, they're not work sessions, they're meetings. Twice a month.
Right, but we have work sessions and we have general meetings. We should only be taking action on things at general meetings.
we do.
Not on work sessions.
No.
Right.
oh,
Right.
Yeah.
But
we
you're
do.
talking about Christine having.
No,
problem
what I'm
about
saying is
4
her
days.
meetings are the first and third Tuesdays, or mine's the first and third, hers are the second and fourth. So this is the third. She had a meeting on the second Tuesday. She is not here on Friday.
Right.
So they had a recommendation that was quite the report that she put together. That gave her 2 days. If she's to meet my deadline, she can't, we're putting her in an impossible situation.
Okay, I see.
So I'm wondering if we need to try to see if they can adjust their schedule so that those items that are gonna come for a recommendation to us are only done on the 4th.
I like
On the
that.
first-
That, do you,
The first-
that,
the
it
first
wasn't our
meeting,
work
the
session,
early-
it was more about.
Yeah.
The early meeting, their
Yeah.
first meeting of the week.
First meeting of the
Second.
month.
This, yeah, the second meeting of the month. That
Oh,
would give
okay,
her-
so the
Yes.
fourth week, the
Yeah.
fourth
Yes.
Tuesday is the only time that they can make recommendations, basically,
So
to give
that,
you a chance.
well, it
and
gives her a
yeah.
chance to really do her end and then get it to us to do your end. and
Maybe
we're
that
not
helps
back.
her in general anyways. She can make
It
a
might.
lot of those.
I'm sure she'll push it.
actionable items for the fourth meeting. This.
Yeah, it puts a
this-
lot of pressure on her, and
Yeah.
I'm sure she did. I'm sure the reason I got it when I did is because she did it over the weekend at home.
Yeah, it's
I'm sure.
substantial amount of work to get done in 2 days. So I agree with that. Maybe we can make that
I'll
recommendation.
talk, yeah, I'll talk to her. I'll
Okay.
talk to her.
Do we need a motion to table this, or do we just
We
move
didn't,
on?
we moved on, I mean,
Okay.
we didn't.
All right,
put on
let's
the
move
table.
on. Madam Clerk, working down the road here.
Okay, next we have ordinance number 2023-07. Let me get to it. So ordinance 2023-07 is an ordinance of the town of Alpine, Wyoming, permitting traffic calming devices within the town of Alpine. This is the first reading. Does any of the council have any questions?
Put it on the table.
Yeah, let's do it.
Make a motion for approval of ordinance number 2023-07 on the first reading, speed calming devices.
Second.
We have a motion. It's been seconded. Any discussion?
Got a lot of stuff here. So for section E, the 85th percentile, how are we paying for that? I mean, it says that be a SO or a town, that just seems like a something that won't happen on the side of budgeting and on the side of time. How do we have that as a rule, I guess? How do we do that?
Okay, so it reads, the 85th percentile speed on the street section must be at least 10 miles per hour over the posted speed limit as determined by the Lincoln County Sheriff or Alpine municipal officers. What does that even mean?
So what that means is, so like when YDOT does a speed study or
Yeah.
traffic study, they'll post somebody up at specific times during day, week, month, and they'll just do that, tag, say they tag 100 cars, and if 85% of those cars meet the speed limit, then there's no change needed. So we would have to essentially tag Alpine municipal officers or Lincoln County Sheriff to say, we have this neighborhood that has been complaining about speed. We need to create a log that can show, I was there from noon to 2 p.m. and during that time, 35 cars went, and of those 35 cars, 20 of them did the speed limit, 15 of them went over 10 miles an hour over the speed limit, so that should involve some type of a,
Yeah, I think that's
Deal.
probably a little excessive to have to go through all that just to
that's what I'm
justify
saying.
because we have real world data from people in neighborhoods that say, I have over,
Well,
you know,
This is first reading, so yeah, debate it, and then you can cross it out.
yep,
So,
that,
I
that
take
one,
no pride in authorship, I probably stole half of it from somebody else.
we know you did.
that's what, when I read through this, I went, I bet a lawyer wrote this.
Yeah, I definitely
I
think
tweaked it, but I had some inspiration.
there's definitely some of these that, absolutely need to be in place. Fire department, police department, sheriff's department approval, public works approval. I think we just need to put this in place so we have, a policy that we have to go through. And I mean, this is, as an ordinance, it's going to be a law.
Yeah.
Craig's also recommending a reduced footage in F.
200 feet
He
seemed like
feels like
pretty
it's
excessive.
because of the size, the distance of our roads at 50 may be more appropriate.
50?
Yeah,
50?
50, yeah.
It was interesting to read the
So-
8% gradient.
Yeah.
So are you wanting to strike
200 for
subsection
50?
E?
No, strike 200 on subsection E and make it
On
50.
F is what I have, that has the traffic calming device.
Oh,
Yeah.
strike E, I believe.
Yeah.
I want to strike
Do
E.
you agree?
Yeah.
Emily, have you had a chance to read through these?
Yes, and my concerns were exactly the same. So if we could strike E and then reduce the feet from the intersection for F, I think that would get us on a good start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then also G, I mean, it kind of says if we don't have it, but we don't have any curb and gutter. I'm aware of. Do we have curb and gutter?
Not anywhere that I'm aware of.
No.
Strike F.
G.
Gee.
That's now F.
Well, no, F, yeah.
The new F.
The new F.
Strike.
Yeah.
It'll be the new age.
And then basically this sets us up for, we will determine the type of traffic calming device, whether it's temporary, permanent, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's basically up to us. I would think, obviously, most everyone understands the reason why we don't have permanent speed bumps in town, just for snow removal. It becomes a little bit of an issue. But what is, in general, the feedback on speed dips?
They're harsh.
Yeah, I would talk to engineer
Okay.
about that kind of stuff, but I harkening back in my teenage years when I found a speed dip, that was a wonderful way to launch your car. So you can make a Volkswagen Jetta fly away.
Yeah.
I wouldn't suggest it.
Okay. I know there's one place in Jackson up by the golf course that has speed dips, and they surprise you if you don't think about it. I would imagine that you don't hit them many times at full speed. So I just wonder, in general, we should maybe just look at that. Let's ask the engineer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
But that would be part of, like, that would be one option that we could put in.
That may be a requirement in your subdivision code, if something to come in and bring in a subdivision. And I guess I don't know where we're gonna get something that large unless we go south, but,
Well, that feels like it would be more of a cost to install as well than getting the temporary ones.
Probably.
Because you
I
have
do
to
know.
cut into the road.
Yes, but it is more of a permanent solution. From what Craig has said, he doesn't love the temporary ones because you're literally drilling into the pavement every single year. I don't know if it just tears it up, it sounds
Yeah.
like. So we have to understand what comes with doing these temporary. And there is a pretty big paragraph in here about neighborhood funded installation, so.
neighborhoods can do it themselves, yeah.
Yeah, and that is my only concern. Are we going to fund traffic calming devices that are requested by neighborhoods? is that the direction we're going to go? Because then every neighborhood may ask for them.
Yeah.
And so there's no money budgeted currently. That's something in this fiscal year. So I don't know, is that something you want to take on? I mean, clearly, we're going to be involved in the maintenance of them, but do we want to fund the installation
Well, right now we can't, so that's
Right.
a moot point.
this year?
Um,
Yeah.
And I mean, I would say, you know, if it would be just as this says, I think it's, where is it? As needed. So as we can afford it, but if we get, 50 different applications,
Yeah.
then it's like, well, we have X amount of dollars that we can divide up into 50. If your neighborhood wants to pony up,
Yeah.
then that's on you.
Okay.
And we control, okay, I'm just thinking through it as far as
Yeah.
HOAs go, but we still control all roads through HOAs. The town does.
Do we need to put in here, if HOAs do put it in, basically we still, is it in here that we maintain them and we're in charge, or
No, I
Are
don't
they
think I
required?
Anything about us maintaining.
Yeah,
They-
I think it's kind of a
just
slippery slope.
process for them to come in and say, hey, we're gonna do it. But, I mean, yes, it would be wise for us to maintain it rather than HOA.
Well, we have to we're supposed to maintain it anyway. So I would assume
They can pay for it, we
they can
maintain
pay
it.
for it, we'd maintain it.
Okay,
Okay.
I'm fine with that. I don't know what Craig would say, but I think he'd probably prefer to be in charge of that, because if for whatever reason it gets into the late fall and there's still these
Right.
speed bumps, traffic, temporary speed bumps, then he can just go and pull them up, but. Any other concerns on first reading?
So we just need to add that the town will maintain them.
Yeah. Councilman, you'll add that language in there someplace?
I missed that. What was,
She just said that, that we just need to add that the town will maintain it, if it's not in there already.
Yeah, we just want to add that.
Any other comments? Emily, do you have any other comments?
Mine was just a question on section 6, subsection B. It says the petition shall include signatures of 100% of the residences immediately adjacent to the proposed traffic calming device or portable speed bumps, and 80% of the occupants of the residences on the street requesting the speed hump or portable speed bump. So I just thought it was interesting. It said 100% of adjacent and 80% on the street. Do we like those numbers? Does that seem fair as far as community feedback?
is this B1?
Yeah, it's B1. So, just to clarify, adjacent is gonna be, someone comes and says, this is my address and I want a speed bump in front of my house. You have to have your next door neighbors and across the street, like, we should maybe even define that, so that's
And you could
totally
bring
clear.
it down to 2/3, so you have a supermajority. You're not requiring a
80%.
unanimous decision. I mean, it's up to you guys, and I don't know if you guys are here to speak about speed bumps. What
I think they
do you
probably
think
are.
is fair?
2/3 is good, 100%.
Yeah.
Within a certain distance of where.
Yeah, that's what we're saying.
You know, like
is
a long,
direct,
you know, a long road, if somebody could be kind of ways away from it.
You're never gonna get 100%. No.
That's what I was,
Deal,
that's
the
where my
rule is,
concern.
do you wanna keep your town safe?
Yeah, we'll get to public comments here in a second, Dan. We'll let you speak on that. But I do think that 2/3 is probably is on both occasions, I guess. I mean,
I agree.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
I think that's more than fair. Yeah, I think 100% is probably never going to happen.
I agree. Okay, any other questions or anything from the council?
Not on first.
Okay, I'm willing to take public comment if anybody wants to come up to the microphone and speak. More than happy to hear your. Dan, come on. Okay.
Come on, Dan.
So, name and address, please.
Dan Scow, 334 Astor Loop, Alpine Meadows. Daily, there isn't a vehicle, town, garbage, FedEx, UPS, and homeowner in that subdivision that doesn't go 50% over the speed limit. There have been times when we've seen garbage trucks go 60 miles an hour, homeowners go 60 miles an hour. It's unsafe. The whole subdivision is unsafe because we have people going through the back road. There needs to be a gate right where the guys come off the bypass Port Authority. That's 100% of the speeding that happens.
What did they do? How are they avoiding the?
They bypass the Port Authority, all the dump trucks.
Port of entry,
No, they bypass before they get.
but to the port of entry, I don't know what you're talking about.
So they don't have to go to the port of entry
Okay.
if they go in
Yeah,
through the
you-
boat
You
ramp.
were using the term
Yeah, yeah.
Port Authority, I don't know
So
what that is.
if you end up going that way, they go past our house at 50 miles an hour.
Yeah. This has definitely come up, I mean, especially during 4th of July, that's when a lot of this stuff happens. People are trying to get to the lake, and I don't understand why they're not just taking Canyon
Sure.
Brook 100.
But it's easy.
Yeah,
It's easy because the guys don't have to get their trucks checked,
yeah.
right?
I hadn't thought of that one, and
They
that
don't have
makes
to,
a lot of
you know,
sense.
the garbage truck doesn't need to get his truck checked,
Yeah,
right? If there's a gate there, nobody can get to the boat ramp and nobody can leave the boat ramp. Nobody gets to get access through there. You guys can have a lock. You guys can get access. It's not safe.
which road or which intersection are you suggesting
So
putting a gate
when
on?
you come from the boat ramp and the dirt road, you can access Alpine Meadows. The garbage trucks, cement trucks, dump trucks, FedEx trucks, everybody uses it.
Right onto Astor.
Yeah, Oh, it's right on the Astor Loop. There are times when you're so backed up at the boat ramp that their easy way to get to the boat ramp is through Astor Loop.
Well,
We all
that,
call it the BLM road. I don't know if that's what it is, but that's.
No, it makes
it's probably, yeah, the BOR, but I think that's reasonable. That's something that hadn't come up, so I appreciate you bringing that up.
Is that an actual road?
Yeah,
I don't think that's a real
It's a
road.
little section of dirt,
Right, but
Astor Loop where the lift station is.
Right at the lift.
Oh, yeah, that's,
Yeah.
well,
I mean, it's a
potentially, we're
road, I
gonna
get it,
have
but
a,
it's, I don't think it's a real road.
no, it's
I think
not
it's a
road.
recognized road.
No, it's just a dirt road. That's another, future topic, but there may eventually be a house on that piece of
Sure.
property, so that would
Well,
stop
it
that.
could be. I mean, if that road went away, it would help drastically.
Is that road, for a better term, isn't that part of your HOA walking space?
No, it's yours.
It's where the
It's
lift
where the
station
sewer
is.
treatment, where you guys are running your power
It's the
Right.
lift
to pump
station.
the sewage.
There is the green belt, but
Yeah.
most have been installed on either side, but people are now driving around.
Around it,
And I think that's what you're referring to.
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's just, you know, I mean, I've talked to you guys a lot. It's, when people are going Astor Loop and they're doing 60,
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
that's not, you know.
Yeah, it's not safe at
I
all.
mean, Steffi chased a guy from Utah all around town.
Say no more.
You go. That's awesome.
You go, girl.
We've got our
So,
traffic
I'm
cop.
saying, It's time.
Yeah,
It is time.
Well, that's why we're here, so that's what we're trying to help. And also, by the way, I think another situation that happens is people are coming off the junction, coming on the main road, and and I don't know why the construction's doing this, but they take the immediate right, or they should take the immediate right, and to get onto County Road 100 or whatever. I don't even know why they're using that, but I've suggested that we put up a temporary sign in the summer encouraging people, like, this is residential traffic only or something. So I want to make sure that we have the authority either in this ordinance or another ordinance to put up temporary signs, whether it's, sawhorses or something that says, and residents can drive around it, obviously, but it hopefully stops the big trucks coming through your neighborhood that are trying to access. I don't even know why they're doing it.
Have you talked to the port of entry people? Because they love.
To hear
Well,
that.
they want it.
Yeah.
It's yours.
No, I mean, but if catching people avoiding the port of entry.
Sure. But they don't want it, they can't do anything with it because it's on private property.
Watch
Some-
them come around
Oh, but
and,
it's your property.
It's,
Right.
it's on public.
You run the
right.
pump station. You
But-
run all that power. That's yours.
So why, I was understanding is you were saying that big trucks are using some road to get around the port of entry, to
Absolutely.
avoid stopping at the port of entry.
Absolutely.
Doesn't matter where they went. The port of entry, they'll send out their patrolmen and they'll find that person and cite them for not stopping at the port of entry.
For sure, that's
I
probably
mean,
something that
that's a crime.
we should definitely make sure that the highway patrol knows about that. If they don't, then we'll contact them specifically on that. We can take this offline, because I want to understand where these people are driving. Let's look at a map to miss the port of entry, but I understand what you're saying, how they're getting access to the boat ramp for sure on that lift station road. So that's something that I'm sure we could take care of relatively quickly. That's no problem. And we don't have to have anyone's authority to put a gate on our own property. But would you like to come up to the,
Just a question, this is
Yeah.
Marlo Sherman.
come on up?
So where they're, are they using Palisades Loop before they get to the port of entry? That's the only road that then it goes through the ADR, is that the one you're talking about?
It's the one right before you get to, let's say if you're
Coming south?
you're coming north from town.
Oh,
You
so
cross the bridge.
they go
And
on,
then they take that road because it says.
oh, so
if
when
you-
they're going north, they come through Alpine
they-
Meadows, and
Absolutely.
then they must go through AVR, and again,
Absolutely.
they must go through the private roads of AVR
Yep, and come out.
to
at
come out on
refuge.
Highway 26 north of
Just
the
north
port
of
of
that.
entry.
So they don't
Okay.
have to access.
And they do the reverse when
Absolutely.
they're heading south, so
Okay, that makes sense.
they're all on,
Yeah.
they're all on private roads is what I was trying to mention. As soon as they get on Palisades, that is not a town street, I don't think. I don't think that's been annexed yet.
Nope.
And so that's all AVR private roads until they get down to County Road 100, Old Airport Road.
Which is county.
That's a county road, because I don't think it's been annexed.
But then when they come through their
But when they
neighborhood,
go
that's-
through Alpine Meadows subdivision, then they're on public streets.
Yep.
And yeah, and if they jump over into the BOR, you guys could control that.
Yeah, we can,
But anyway, I was just curious of the route.
thank you for clarifying that. That makes more sense to what you're saying, Dan. Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
looking at the GIS here, back to going from the boat ramp to Astor Drive, that's not town of Alpine property. You have Evans
not that
Family
one.
Folding,
I'll show you which one it is.
which,
Over here more. It's over here.
oh, so they're not doing that
Nope,
cut?
it's,
Because I thought this was,
no, this is where they're doing it right here on this, that's ours.
oh, gotcha, okay,
So they're backdooring it so they can get to the boat ramp there.
gotcha.
So yeah, just gate that.
There's
Yeah.
a sign, I believe there's a sign on the highway there. Once you pass it, you have
Gotcha.
to go to the port.
Okay.
And they bypass that because they haven't crossed
Yeah.
it. The road's right.
Right. I'll go past the sign. not cool.
Do we have another comment? Go ahead.
Hi, Heather Goodrich, 37 Oakgrass Street. First of all, thank you, you're all doing a wonderful job. I mean that, no, actually, I really appreciate you guys, and thank you for bringing this up. I just had two quick comments. One was, you talked about not having like requirements or doing like the traffic surveys or anything like that. You may end up needing to do that. I don't know what this is gonna do. I don't know if the town, a lot of people in the town are gonna be wanting speed bumps, but if you do put that language back in, I would suggest maybe also doing how much people are exceeding the speed limit as one of the requirements for like prioritizing. I just think for us, you know, we have one of the few places in Alpine where you have a straightaway with no stop signs, no lights, no, you know, and people, like the amount that people are exceeding the speed limit, I think is one of our biggest concerns.
Yep.
So I just wanted to suggest possibly putting language in if you end up doing some traffic studies.
I appreciate your comments. I think the traffic study, taking that language out makes it easier for us to do this.
Just go and
Yeah, we'll just go and do it. We don't need to study it. So,
I just wonder if you're gonna get to a point where your requests are gonna exceed funding and time, and then you're gonna have to prioritize. So I'm just suggesting that as, if it gets to that point, another consideration, you know, is how much people are exceeding the speed
Yeah.
limit. Cause it's really bad. And then I just wanted to mention along those lines, as you're looking at like applications and how to prioritize, I don't know if you know this, but Oatgrass Street, actually according to our homeowners association regulations, was never meant to be a through road. It was supposed to be gated off and it's supposed to be just emergency access. For whatever reason, that didn't happen before we were incorporated by the town. So that's a consideration just to think about, like, had we done things the way we're supposed to according to our own guidelines, that should have been shut off. And I
is
think
Oakgrass
probably
this
for that
road right here?
Oakgrass
Highway
is the main Oakgrass is the main problem.
No.
Wintergreen to Oakgrass is what people typically take off the
Is this
highway.
Oakgrass right here?
No, up there, go to Highway 100, right there. One more up, right there.
And because we're now incorporated by the town, we can't shut that off the way it was supposed to be shut off. So,
So there's supposed to be a gate between
yes,
Oatgrass and
that
Highway
was supposed to
100?
be, according to, if you look at our bylaws, that was supposed to be gated for emergency access only. And I don't know why that wasn't done earlier on, but it wasn't, and now we're incorporated. We've talked about, you know, as an HOA trying to do that, and then when we looked at the bylaws, we realized we can't now because it's town.
I think that would solve a lot of these issues,
It
so.
would completely solve all of the issues.
Um,
It would create other issues for some of the
Would it
homeowners
be
that live
cheaper
right there, but.
than your temporary speed bumps? Just to,
well, how does it become an emergency access is the question, if it's a gate,
I don't know.
you know?
I mean, there's a lot of emergency access,
Well, it's
you
a,
know, gates
I
all
mean,
over.
yeah, the fire department has the combo.
Right.
Key or
with
whatever,
municipal- Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Make it a
So it's
combo.
Yeah, that's pretty common.
Fires, yeah.
If it needs to be something really high-tech, that would be maybe, you know,
Master
I
lock.
think it needs to be high tech.
Yeah, just a gate with a
Just
lock on
steel
it.
bar
Yeah.
and,
Okay,
Combination.
It was the same thing we were talking about a couple months ago with the road behind Jenkins.
that's what I was thinking. If we have to put something like that, that could be,
that's
Not
a-
really
that's
cost
a
effective for
different
us.
issue with the road because of ownership. But
Right, but
this was dedicated
just
to
to-
us. And
yeah.
if you're gonna do it, just do it.
Do we,
That's all I had.
thank you, Heather.
Yeah, yeah.
Do, Mr. Sanderson, do we have to have any special authority or approval to put that up? Are we covered in any of our ordinances?
Well, I think you need to have a public hearing and say, you
Okay.
announce your intent that we're gonna do
Intent
this.
to do it.
Put out some
Yeah.
notice, let these folks come in and
I think
talk.
they would be positive for
Let the truckers come and talk.
it. Go ahead. Please, go ahead.
All right.
Juan Campos, 46 Oatgrass, Alpine Meadows. I just want to piggyback on what Heather started to comment. The certified plats for our subdivision has a warning on there, very clearly states, and this is probably subject to legal interpretation, but the language reads, no residential or business park vehicle access of any kind shall be taken directly from County Road 100, which would, in my mind, does not allow traffic from go to Oatgrass onto on or off the highway, or the other one is Foxtail.
I wish I had these. This one?
Yes.
See, what I was saying is, I don't know why people are accessing, from what I understand, construction happening. I'm sorry?
When the county roads we worked on, there was a
Yeah, they were funded.
Right,
They
right.
went through
But
this stuff.
for whatever reason, people now, even construction, like at, say, AVR or any of the refuge, for some reason, and I don't understand why, they're coming this way off the junction and then accessing this road here instead of coming up to County Road 100 and turning left.
We don't understand either. But it's all day, every day, just lots of cars.
Hold on one second. Juan's gonna keep
I
pontificating.
have an intermediate solution. now.
Okay.
Okay, so traffic is either coming north from the valley, turning into the subdivision here, or coming from here, or here avoiding this, right? There's a very, very good example up in Jackson where they don't want trucks coming from Cache, like the airport,
Yes.
into the square. Okay? So about a block, well, 300 feet, there's a sign posted, right? And as you get to that intersection, there's this. So what I propose initially, I don't think we're gonna, traffic is gonna continue coming through here. Foxtail, there's nothing developed here, and it's a super wide street
Mm-hmm.
that runs into the old highway. So if we put something like this, maybe here, and then something like this, as you approach this intersection, that would tell people, or trucks, because that's really.
And that's only if they turn off at the junction, right? Or would we rather just have those signs and try to send them up at County Road? Yeah.
If there's a way to
Then you get
avoid it from here.
Yeah, it's a wide-out issue.
The only way we could do those signs on the Alpine, in your subdivision, but we can't do them out on the highway, so that's a good point.
Right.
But
So, you know, that would take, speeders will continue until something is done. But the flow of heavy equipment, traffic coming through here onto Oatgrass, onto the highway, and then, you know, servicing all of this, is just daily.
the other thing, if we end up putting a gate at Oatgrass, then we can put a sign that says dead end or no through traffic, whatever, and hopefully that
Right.
nips that real quick.
And then another one, a truck route, you know, this is Oatgrass, you know, put it here, just telling people, go straight. Don't cut through here. That's if there is no.
Yeah, I still don't understand why they're turning off at the junction to go into the subdivision. It doesn't make sense to me.
Part of it is what hasn't been addressed, you know, people just cutting through here, and going around,
Just makes
and avoiding the port of entry.
Yeah, that's
Well,
crazy.
they don't, if they go beyond the fireworks shop, they have to go to the port entry, because there's a sign there that says, cross this road, you gotta go to port entry. So, at the fireworks, they take a left and come behind, they follow that, go right up,
There.
and cross that right there.
That's crazy.
That's the dirt road that they get into. Every dump truck, water truck, it's every.
I would, okay, yeah.
Do it real quick. Just,
Really
I mean, where it's
Yeah,
our
we can-
property, we can.
Yeah, we can put we can put a
fix that
gate up
real
there real quick and that would
Thinking that's
quell
what
that
we
pretty
spend some time
easily. But it would be interesting to document who's actually doing that and making sure we could pass that on. So maybe we'll come up with something to do.
So, Mayor, so
Sir,
is it this route that they're taking?
No.
One more over, Marlon.
Go in between those two houses, yeah. We own that property right there.
Somewhere over here?
Yeah,
You own the property?
Yeah.
So isn't that a trespass, across private land?
for sure.
Sure,
The police
absolutely.
certainly ticket
Yeah, so we don't have a police department, but if you'd like to apply, we're always taking applications. You've got a lot going on. Sir, go ahead. Let's let him go. Go for it.
My name's Corbett Kirkley. I live at 711 Astor Loops, right at the corner where Oatgrass, at the end of the road, basically, where the T is.
Right here.
I
Someplace.
I do not have a good solution or any answer for you. But I just wanted to let you know, I do appreciate your point about putting up the sign, but about 2 months ago, well, number one, at that corner, tons of people go flying through there, and the stop sign means very much nothing. If it even means slow down. But about 2 months ago, I got home, and it was rolled up and flattened to the ground. So a truck came through, rolled completely over the stop sign at the turn, and smashed it into the ground. So it was not effective as a sign or a slowdown. So I don't have a good answer, but I wanted to let you know signs may not be as effective as you want.
Yeah. Signs don't work. Thank you for that. That might be the easiest solution. I just want to make sure that we've got the authority to do that.
Like I said, it's just block it off. It's yours, yes.
Especially
Well, on our
If
property,
that's
yeah.
not a through street,
But
we took it
Especially
over.
this one.
Yeah, if it's not a through street, when we took it over, then, yeah, we can.
Can I just say one thing, if you do that, could you zoom back out?
We'd need
I love the gate idea, I'm all for it. But I feel like you would have to make sure that the gate covers enough that people aren't going through the property, because what's happening right now is, if you zoom out just a little bit more, right here, we put up posts as a homeowner association here and here to stop people from driving down this, and they're just driving around onto the property. So it's gotta be enough of a gate that people can't do that. Like right now, there's no house on this corner, but,
Yeah.
like
Well-
they'll just drive onto the, it's insane.
Well-
I don't understand why people are hell-bent on cutting through this neighborhood. It's really bizarre.
We'll put a real gate up there. Now over here, if that's what we determine is the best solution, that's
Yeah.
what we will do. But if people are driving past this, then do you guys?
That's what I say, and those two lots are private property. So as far as the town goes, we can't really do anything.
It's not there. Scroll to the left. See where that house is? Right there. See
They're
where-
driving on both.
Right,
They're-
right there.
It's both. They drive on the bike path. Right there where you're, on where
Yeah.
the little house is gone now, actually. There's a bike path there. They drive on the bike path, and we put a post and they drive around it. We literally have a dirt road now there from when, because we put up the posts like a few months ago. There's now a dirt road where people are going around the posts.
All right, so let's talk to our public works director, and we'll bring this to, and we'll definitely try to involve you guys as much as we can. But thank you. We don't know these things unless you bring them to us. So maybe there's something that we can do there where what they call the bollards or whatever, which
We
stop
have
traffic.
bollards.
But I mean, like a real one. Like,
They are.
are they metal?
They're
Are they?
going around onto the dirt, onto the land. I think that gate would stop a lot of this, right? If you can't drive through all that, then you're not gonna bother.
If you blocked off that road,
They'll quit.
it would be done.
Well, this road right here, but then
No, they can't get up.
if we block off this one, that's easy.
Our road, we can do stuff
Thi-
with, that one we can't.
This one is a pathway, and I think
And it's,
it's a walkway.
but it's, like I say, it's private property that the
Yeah.
town does not own, so we couldn't do anything there.
Yep.
Well, we could talk to who owns it.
Yeah.
The homeowners association might
It'd
have
be
more
Evans
pull with that
Family
one, too, and
Holdings
You guys
and
come up with a solution and figure
Scott
out
and
what it
Lori
is.
Cummings.
Yeah, no, there were 2 steel bollards sunk in about 8 inches of concrete. And so there's one that goes from Astor Loop to the bike path.
Uh-huh.
There's one there. And the other one is on a bike path that comes off Columbine to Old Alpine.
This one?
Yeah. At the bottom, right there.
And so what
Some
is
people are just
using it?
going
Is it a side-by-side, or is it, a vehicle?
The tracks that were photographed was like probably a truck, you know, like a,
Both ends, I've seen them both ends.
yeah.
Okay,
Side by sides, I mean, they can circumvent that really easy.
yeah,
But, you know, it's just basically to deter people, not that they're not gonna do it, right?
I would say also as much evidence as the homeowners can get, pictures
Yeah.
of people using it that way would help whatever justification we need to do what we want to do, but I think we're all on the same page here, so appreciate you guys. Any other further comments? Go ahead. Come on up.
Good job, by the way. Second the motion.
Jarell Kirkley, 711 Astor Loop. I love the gate, but I also love the idea of having the sign up at the front of Wintergreen, letting people know that it's, you know, private property, subdivision,
Yep.
you know, no through traffic. I was out in the driveway spray painting some stuff, and 6 motorcycles came rearing all the way down there, and the sheriff was right behind them, but they just went through someone's yard and down to the lake, and,
What do
you know, you can't do anything about that, so.
No, I think it's a combination of several different things, and our clerk is taking copious notes, and I think she's going to be getting in contact with our Public Works Director, and we'll discuss this, so.
Yeah, I should point out that sign was replaced the next day after I commented.
Yeah,
So,
thank you for letting us know. Okay, so now back to the original motion. We've made some amendments. Mr. Sanderson, do we have to,
We can just pass it on first reading and then,
Pass on first reading, and then we'll come back and have it on second.
okay. Any further comments? All those in favor of passing ordinance 2023-07 on first reading, say aye.
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 Okay. Ordinance passes on first reading. All right, thank you everyone for coming and giving us your feedback on that. Madam Clerk, we're to,
Yeah, so next on the agenda is ordinance number 2023-08. This is an ordinance amending Town of Alpine ordinance number 298, ordinance number 2022-16, adopted October 18th, 2022, providing for schedule for the reimbursement of the developer of properties within the Town of Alpine, Wyoming, to receive reimbursement from subsequent development for expenditures for the installment of water and sewer improvements. And this ordinance was drafted to amend the number of years per council's suggestion.
yeah, the only thing in question that we're talking about here is the recapture was originally done with 5 years.
Yes.
And we're suggesting 10. I think that's really the only thing in question. Do we have a motion?
Motion for approval of ordinance number 2023-08 on the first reading, amendment to ordinance number 298, 2022-16, developer reimbursement for infrastructure, moving from previous 5 years to 10 years.
Second.
We have a motion. It's been seconded. Any discussion? 5 years didn't seem enough originally. I don't know if 10 is the sweet spot or not, but I think it gives them just a little bit more time for recapture. I mean, we have an agreement right now that has 20 years recapture, and that's ridiculously long. So I think this is kind of in the middle, in the sweet spot. So any other comments? Councilman Castillo, do you have any comments on that?
No, I think 10 years is very fair, and we can, of course, amend it moving forward, but I think that's a good start.
Yep, agreed. Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor of ordinance 2023-08 on first reading, say aye.
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 Okay. Ordinance passed on first reading. All right, moving down the list here.
Okay, your next item is seeking the approval of and signature of Mayor Green on the replat for properties located at 697 Sunset Drive and 642 Mountain Drive, which are in the Grand Lake subdivision, and 699A Sunset Drive, which is in Alpine Grid area. And Marlo Sherbo is here if you have any questions about this item.
Do you want to come up and give us the lowdown? Yeah, appreciate it.
You have any, I don't know if you have any digital maps. This is up on Grand Lake. This is Joe Daravidas' property. He owns lots, currently it's lots 7 and 9, and his neighbor, Mr. Elwell, owns what is lot 6. Part of the back up on the south.
I'm going to try to pull up the GIS real quick.
GIS would be beneficial.
Okay. I should have been ready for that.
No, that's fine. You should have a map in your packets.
They do.
I could also find it here in my email real quick. That'll probably be fastest.
The GIS is easier to see the lot delineation.
Okay. Thank you everyone for their patience. I shall find this real quick here. I'm almost there, Marlo.
No, you're fine.
Okay.
Nice to have it electronically.
Yeah.
Each of the cities are finally getting.
I'm gonna plug it back in here and then you could hopefully direct me a little bit. Okay, so
Thank you.
Jeremy, you wanna help me?
You might want to bring up the background. Probably a few ball games tonight. No.
Is it, I think it's the identity that I use. Do you want to point to which one it is specifically?
Sure, you can.
Yeah.
So this is 7 and 9, which is where Joe owns both of these properties. And the Elwells own this large lot 6. Their access is coming down this access, which is a shared access goes down to your tanks. Just to orient you. So what we're doing is getting rid of this lot line, combining 7 and 9. And at the same time as we were doing that, Joe and Mr. Elwell, we found that this driveway going to the Elwell home cut across this line. This is very steep terrain up here, by the way. And so the driveway, as it shows on the map that I submitted, encroaches onto lot 9. And so that's the reason for the boundary adjustment between 6 and 9. So this line goes away between 7 and 9. This becomes one lot. And this boundary is moving north here with a jog back to this corner so that this driveway and its fill all on his lot.
And everyone has.
Everybody's in agreement. They'll all have to sign the plat.
Okay.
And they are in agreement, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can confirm.
Okay.
I think there was one, condition of approval suggested by your, planning and zoning. And I didn't get to call you, Jeremy, I thought you might know. They were wondering whether or not the utility easement had been granted by Mr. Daramidas and Mr. Elwell.
I believe Daramidas, I'm pretty sure.
And we're showing that on the plat, so I was pretty sure about that. I wasn't sure
but I
about
know that
Elwell where it
Elwell.
crosses his entrance.
That I can't confirm.
So it's a good condition to keep on. I apologize, I didn't follow up and find a final answer for that, but
Yeah.
we can
Yeah.
make sure that that's done.
99.9% Joe has, but LL, I'm not sure.
Obviously, that's, you're aware of that utility easement for Silver Star and that the town has been working on for, what, about a year now? We certainly want to get that done. That's an important thing up
Yep.
for the hill, the lots up there. And so I would agree with that condition of approval. We'll make sure that that happens if it hasn't happened. I think it's probably already done. But let's make it a condition of approval so we don't just wonder.
Yeah, that sounds great.
And I'd be glad to answer any questions, fairly straightforward. If you have any questions, I'm here.
I think this is pretty straightforward.
Emily, had mentioned she may have a question.
Oh, Emily, do you have a question for Mr. Sherman?
Oh, actually, he answered it, but it sounds like for the most part, this is just trying to put them in better compliance. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yes. For the boundary adjustment, it's a better compliance so that there's not an encroachment. I think Mr. Daramidas, he'd like to combine his lots,
So
so
he's not paying non-two
he
lots.
has one payment a month instead of two. I think that's his
Understandable.
motivation.
Got it. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Such that it probably ought to be combined. He's got enough buildings on it that it's not really, I mean, he's used it as one piece.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
It'd be another non-conforming one to our neighborhood there. That makes a beautiful place.
Yeah. Has everyone had a chance to go through this? I know this just came pretty late in the day, but I just want to make sure everyone has had time to look through this and understands what's going on before we make any decisions. Yeah.
Yeah, I've talked to the homeowners and
Sounds good to me. Do we have a motion?
do a motion for approval of a replat for the properties located at 697 Sunset Drive and 642 Mountain Drive, Grand Lake subdivision, and 699A Sunset Drive, Alpine grid area, with condition of signed utility easement and giving Mayor Green the authority to sign the replat.
Second.
Well done. We have a motion. It's been seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor of said motion, say aye.
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 All right, motion passes.
Thanks for your
Thank you, Marlo. Last item on the action list.
I want to go check my email.
I think I know what you're gonna check, and, yeah. Let's take a
Tea break?
2-minute recess. Need to just look for something real quick, but.
Lots of signing,
We should have got stamps.
right? I learned to really like shorten up my signature.
I did like shipping and handling for a lumberyard once, and it would be
Oh.
sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Water district board, you're supposed to have 2 signatures, and, it's hard finding checks that'll get the 2 signatures.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
The line item,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, now that it's all electronic, it's only questioned if it's questioned. Yeah. There's supposed to be 2 signatures on here. Oh. Whoops. Yeah. Hello. Ah.
Okay. Enjoyed it? No.
Good off you. I got a weird page. Hold on. Oh, I gave you too many pages.
Okay, we'll come back in session. In light of some recent, a recent email that we got, I think it's probably best to go into executive session and discuss. So if someone could make a motion, I'd appreciate it.
What is,
We just need to make a motion to go into executive session.
legal issues, thank you, that's what I was asking for. Motion to go into executive session, discussing legal issues.
Second.
We have a motion, it's been seconded. Any further discussion? Any discussion at all? No? All those in favor of going into executive session, say aye.
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 Motion passes. So with that being said, everyone is excused. Thanks for coming. Thank you.
Thank you.
No, I don't know. Thanks. Appreciate you coming.
You busy?
Yeah. Look forward to working with you. There's a couple of
Enjoy your
things
drive to the canyon. That should be smooth sailing at this point.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Well, you better get on it, because it's Tuesday and we need to see you on Saturday.